There is a psychological script that has been hard-coded into your brain since the very moment you were in diapers. It was handed down by your parents like a holy commandment and preached by your grandparents over every Thanksgiving dinner. It's reinforced by every suburban realtor with a bleached white smile staring at you from a dusty old bus bench. They call it the American dream, the ultimate marker of adulthood and your supposed golden ticket to middle-class wealth. The script is dead simple. Rent is throwing money away, and you are just paying off your landlord's mortgage instead. They tell you that buying a house is the single best investment you will ever make in your entire life. We internalize this doctrine until it becomes our identity, feeling a deep, visceral shame if we're still renting at 30. We look in the mirror and see a failure to launch, a financially illiterate child who simply refuses to grow up. So we panic. We rush into buying homes we can't afford, stretching our debt-to-income ratios to the absolute breaking point. We sign a 30-year mortgage, a word from Old French meaning death pledge, and we tell ourselves that we are being smart. But my name is Jax. I spent years as a risk analyst, stripping the emotion out of the rigged housing numbers. I'm here to tell you that for millions of Americans today, that sacred cultural script is a total catastrophic lie. The math has shifted, the market is warped, and blind faith is trapping an entire generation in financial stagnation. Your home isn't an asset. It is a massive leverage-fueled consumption trap that is currently masquerading as a real investment. To truly understand why your home is likely a massive liability, we first have to redefine what throwing money away actually means. When you rent an apartment, you pay a simple monthly fee for a roof over your head, and that money is gone. But when you buy, the industry lies to your face by telling you that every single monthly payment is actually savings. That is a total fabrication, especially during the first decade when your hard-earned cash vanishes into the void of unrecoverable costs. These are the silent black holes in your bank account that build exactly zero equity while you hold a fancy property deed. First, let's talk about the cost of capital, which is the massive interest you pay the bank just to borrow money. On a typical 30-year mortgage at today's rates, nearly 80% of your early payments go straight to the bank's pocket. You aren't paying yourself back. You are simply renting money from a billion-dollar institution that is getting richer off your debt. If you actually look at a real amortization schedule, it reads like a horror story where your principal barely even moves. You might cut a check for $4,000, but only $600 of that actually touches the debt you owe. Second are the property taxes, which are just a perpetual rent you pay the government for the privilege of staying on your land. Third is maintenance, because you are constantly managing a deteriorating physical asset in a never-ending battle against the laws of entropy. Every dollar you spend on a leaking roof or a broken HVAC system is an unrecoverable cost that will never come back. Finally, when you add in insurance and transaction fees, you realize you aren't building a kingdom. You are just paying different landlords. You haven't escaped the cycle of throwing money away. You have just made the payments much more complicated and harder to escape. Now let's dive into the one specific number that the entire real estate industry absolutely hates: the price-to-rent ratio. In the sophisticated world of high finance, we call this the PE ratio for the local housing market. It is the ultimate BS meter to determine if your local neighborhood is actually worth the price they are asking. The calculation is simple. Divide the home price by the annual rent of a similar property to see the truth. If that ratio is over 20, the cold, hard math is literally screaming at you to stay a renter for now. In cities like Austin or Seattle, ratios are hitting 30, meaning you are effectively shorting the entire housing market. You are living in $1 million asset for a fraction of the ownership cost, while the landlord absorbs every risk. But here is the invisible wealth killer that absolutely no one talks about during those polite suburban dinner parties. It's called the opportunity cost of your down payment, and it is the silent thief of your future financial freedom. To buy a $600,000 house, you are dropping $120,000 in cold, hard cash today. The moment you sign that deed, that cash becomes dead equity, trapped inside a wall where it produces zero cash flow. That money can't buy you groceries or pay for a medical emergency. It just sits there hoping for a miracle. If you invested that same cash into the S&P 500, history shows your money would double roughly every 7 years. By locking it in a house, you are betting your entire life savings that one specific zip code outperforms the world. Statistically, real estate loses that bet because real home prices have barely even outpaced the rate of inflation over time. A disciplined renter who invests the difference is a liquid millionaire in the making, with total control over their own money. Beyond the cold spreadsheets, we have to talk about the most undervalued asset in this modern world: optionality. In a volatile, AI-driven economy, your house is an anchor, and sometimes you don't want to be anchored down. You want to be a speedboat, capable of packing a U-Haul and moving for a massive raise in 30 days. The homeowner is trapped, forced to stage their life and pray the market doesn't dip before they can sell. Transaction fees and agent commissions can wipe out 5 years of your hard-earned equity in a single, brutal afternoon. By buying, you are effectively shorting your own mobility and betting that your current city is your final destination. I know what you're shouting at the screen right now, but Jax, rent goes up and my mortgage is fixed. A fixed-rate mortgage is a hedge against inflation, sure, but remember that the mortgage is the only thing that's fixed. Your property taxes are skyrocketing as cities go broke, and your insurance premiums are doubling due to climate risks. The cost of a plumber or a new roof goes up every year. You aren't immune to inflation at all. Meanwhile, a disciplined renter's investment portfolio is also growing with the market, far outpacing the annual rise in rent. You should be using liquid assets to fund your lifestyle rather than using your shelter as your only retirement prayer. Stop letting a 1950s cultural script bully you into a bad investment for the year 2026. A house is a consumption choice, a place to live, not a guaranteed golden ticket to a wealthy future. If you want real wealth, own things that actually pay you, like stocks, bonds, and cash-flowing private businesses. Don't be house rich and life poor. Run the numbers, check the ratio, and if the math says rent, rent with pride. Build your liquid empire, stay mobile, and let the landlord worry about the flooding basement at 2 in the morning. I'm Jax, and I run the numbers so you don't have to. Hit subscribe to start building real wealth today. Before I let you go, we need to address the massive elephant in the room, the crushing weight of cultural guilt. The real estate industry doesn't just sell wood and mortar, they sell the emotional concepts of security and family. They weaponize your biological need for a nest to force you into a contract that makes absolutely zero mathematical sense. Think about the term starter home. It is a genius marketing ploy designed to put you on a hedonic treadmill. It implies your current life isn't real yet, forcing you to trade up and pay those brutal fees over and over. It is nothing more than a massive wealth transfer mechanism from your pocket straight into the pockets of the industry. True security does not come from a piece of paper. True security comes from having massive liquid cash on hand. Security is a brokerage account that pays your rent for 5 years if you happen to lose your job tomorrow morning. For most people, ownership is actually a source of constant anxiety, the fear of a hidden $12,000 repair bill. When you rent, you are buying back your time and your peace of mind while outsourcing every single headache to someone else. You are freeing yourself to focus entirely on your highest earning years without the distraction of managing a deteriorating asset. So, next time your parents or friends look down on your apartment, remember that you are not falling behind at all. You are lean, you are liquid, and you are mobile, playing a 21st century game while they are stuck in 1954. Build your empire in the global markets, build freedom in your career, and live wherever the hell makes you happy today. At the end of the day, your real net worth is a number on a screen, not the specific color of your front door. I'm Jax. Thank you for watching this breakdown. Now quit stalling, go run your numbers, and start building your own future.